And bourbon.
And bourbon. Yeah. Hey, that's a good one.
Hello, I'm Stephen with Tobacco Cabana.
And I'm David. I'm a Texan, and I love cigars. This is the Road Show. Well, Stephen, we're back for another show, right?
We are.
Why aren't you lighting up? You know, hold on, just, you know, we'll take care of that, right?
Yeah.
As soon as I get mine lit. You
Yeah.
know, we might have a tip later.
I think so.
Okay, but yeah, I'm going to be smoking the Sancho Panza Extra Cheeto, which is what you've got too.
Yes. Cinco a mano. I love that.
One of these days, I'm going to get you guys to stop hot lighting.
You've tried, Dave. Dave said he wants to try to get us to quit hot lighting. You know what? I need to get my cigar lit in a hurry. Welcome back, guys, right?
Right.
You know, we're here in Tobacco Cabana in Cedar Hill again. Last week was our first week, my first week back here after a couple of months of being home after back surgery, which I appreciate you guys' all your support and everything, but it's always good to be back here in Tobacco Cabana in Cedar Hill with Stephen and Rhonda and Bob. Again, I'm smoking the Sancho Panza Extra Cheeto, extra cool, baby. Matt Booth inspiration here. You can look at one of our my past shows when I was in the man cave. I had the news about this cigar, what the blend was, but I finally got this to actually smoke it. So Stephen's going to get his lit here. He's got his lit, but you know, that should have given you guys enough time to get something in your glass, whether it's coffee, juice, you know, all that good stuff. You know, bourbon, American single malts. Yeah, Dave is saying American single malt. But what do we have? Right here, I've got another Railport Brewery beer. This Texas Toast is going to be brought to you by Railport Brewery, Ellis County's first brewery, right there in Waxahachie, Texas. And this beer that I'm going to be drinking, toasting with, is the Caboose IPA. This is a Smash IPA. So Smash IPA, I believe, is two ingredients. It's just very simple. This is a single malt and single hop IPA using a Pilsner malt and Citra hops. Simple and satisfying any day of the week. This is 8.7.
Pretty good proof.
Yeah. This is only a 5.2 IBU. So
Really?
this is not real bitter.
That's
this isn't,
nice.
yeah. This is
Some IPAs are,
real hoppy.
just
Are you like hop IPAs is kind of like what used to be with rye? You just, you know, you steered away from them because of that.
Yes.
Whereas me, the hoppier the better. I have grown into that. I'm gonna see if I can pour this better. There we go, a little better. Stephen's glass here. We've got some beer for the toast here. And Dave said he is going to stick with what he's got in his glass. I understand that. That's fine. But you guys, you got something in your glass, whatever it is, it doesn't matter because we're toasting to you out there, to good friends, good conversations, what we call
Texas Toast.
Texas Toast, brother. Cheers, cheers. Boom. Just coming up to the nose, you can smell that grapefruit type note, clean and crisp, exactly. Look at the effervescent on that, the bubbles on that. Granted, this is not the correct glass to pour a beer into, but I'm making do.
In a pinch.
In a pinch, exactly. In a pinch, we've got that. Maybe I need to get get some beer glasses up here for the Texas Toast. Do that next time.
I probably have a few around here.
Yeah, we might. But beer glasses. The shaker glass, the traditional, is just a straight glass. That is not a beer glass. That's a shaker glass. That's a mixing glass. But you see that typically.
Yes.
People use it for beer glasses. No, they should be tuliped in some way like this to where it will foam.
That true.
Form a head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it should. And you should pour that beer in there so that it does foam up and it releases those gases. So those gases don't end up in here. It ends up in your glass.
Yep.
And then it releases those flavors and everything, and it drinks the way and tastes the way it should. But thank you to Railport Brewery for the beer. I enjoy an IPA. Smash IPAs, it doesn't matter to me. Dirty IPA, hazy IPA, double IPA, it doesn't matter to me. I have grown to love IPAs, and Railport Brewery has some really, really good ones. So we've got our Texas Toast out of the way. We've got our cigars lit, right?
Right.
What do we do now? How about
sit back and relax?
No, yeah, that would be fantastic.
Oh, you're gonna make us work.
Yeah, we're gonna make us work. We've got some news, Stephen. What have you got?
I have one called the Stolen Throne Cigars. They've begun shipping their new cigar that has been created to commemorate the company's 5th anniversary.
5 years of Stolen Throne. Wow.
Awesome. The Crook of the Crown. It's a Corona.
Oh.
6x46
Sounds
Corona
right.
Gorda Vitola that uses the same blend as the rest of the Crook of the Crown line, a Mexican San Andreas Maduro wrapper covering an Indonesian binder and filler tobaccos grown in Nicaragua.
Okay.
Love the San Andreas. And
Yes,
we're
I do.
seeing a lot now.
I do like the San Andres. Yes, sir.
And with an Indonesian binder, Indonesians tend not to have a heavy flavor, so you get more of that wrapper.
So is the Indonesian kind of like a, how do you say, something that marries things together better?
It does, because it doesn't overpower one thing like the leaf, that wrapper, and it doesn't overpower any of the binders and fillers.
Okay.
So it just kind of gives you a very neutral flavor.
Okay. Where you at?
Lee Mash, founder of Stolen Throne Cigars, told Half Wheel the ratio of tobaccos used in the blend for the new addition to the line was adjusted specifically for the Corona Vitola. Love when producers and manufacturers do that. Blend specifically for the Vitola.
Yeah.
We've seen that before in Apostate.
Yeah, Apostate you're going to see coming up with Dave Yancey and me in the show here, and those are blended in 1 Vitola per cigar blend. And so that tells you something about that blend.
It ensures you get the best of the tobaccos
Exactly.
and how they're put together.
Exactly.
Each cigar has an MSRP of about $12. The total production is limited to 50,000 cigars, which is still rather small when you compare it to others,
Yeah, it is.
which are packaged in 20-count bundles. The cigars were rolled in the Rojas Cigar Factory in Esteli, Nicaragua.
Rojas Factory.
Noel.
One of my favorite blenders, good friend. They've just had their 10th anniversary. And if you look back at our show, Noel was our first roadshow.
Yeah.
He was our first roadshow. He's a fantastic blender. I knew he had done Stolen Throne. And those are fantastic cigars too.
Well, in the quality of production.
Yeah.
I mean, his people are so well trained that within about half a gram,
Yeah.
he can pick up a cigar and know if it's blended correctly.
Right.
Just from the feel.
And he has his own factory now in Nicaragua. And you know what's interesting about him? He is growing his own tobacco. and he's starting some interesting hybrids. So I can't wait to see that. So that's something on the horizon for him.
Yes.
Because it's going to take some time to get those down to where he wants them. And he is somebody, the Rojas, Noel is somebody that has an amazing palate.
Oh, yes. Yes.
And it was through him and his become a cigar specialist.
Oh, yes.
That I was able to realize that Jalapa was one of my favorite tobaccos. And it is, so anything, Noel, anything he blends, my ears perk up. My ears, yeah.
That and the Ometepe.
So Somoto. Somoto that he has, yeah. Very, very, very good. So,
He's the top 10 blender.
Yes.
Dave Yancey over here saying that Noel is one of the top 10 blenders, and I would totally agree.
Absolutely.
I would put him in definitely top 10.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
when you hear his name associated with the cigar, you know you're getting a quality product that is blended specifically for that cigar.
Yeah, and he is the king of small ring gauge. Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah. Anyways, how about some more news from Bolivar?
All right.
You know that brand?
I love
Bolivar.
that brand.
Bolivar Cofradia Oscuro debuts May 1st. So we're in May right now. So it should be out there in your brick and mortars. Go and look for it. The Bolivar portfolio will soon expand to include a 3-cigar collection called Bolivar Cofradio Oscuro. The new Medium Plus blend ships to retailers May 1st. Joe, I am not going to try to butcher your last name. Kristen, I'm going to say Kristen. Christen, yes, I'm sorry. Assistant brand manager for Bolivar said, Bolivar Cofradio Oscuro brings a new dimension to Bolivar by introducing a U.S.-grown Connecticut broadleaf wrapper to the portfolio. The blend is rich and rewarding. It's priced in line with the existing Bolivar offerings, making it among the best values in any humidor. This new line is yet another reason for cigar smokers to explore this legendary brand, and we expect that the blend will be very well received. Legendary is an understatement.
Yes. Yes.
For
Absolutely.
Bolivar. That is an understatement. Now, granted, this is Bolivar U.S.,
Right.
not Cuban. So this is Bolivar U.S. So the Bolivar Cofradia Oscuro is complex, 5-country blend. It is made with an aged Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, an Ecuadorian Sumatra binder, and Dominican, Nicaraguan, and Honduran fillers. This is a bold and meaty smoke that juxtaposes peppery notes with hints of coffee and chocolate and delivers lingering notes of earth and spice at the finish.
Sounds great.
It does. Handcrafted at the Hadza in Honduras and presented in old world styled wooden packaging. Bolivar Cofradia Oscuro is distributed by Ford Cigar Company. It's going to come in 25 count boxes.
Okay.
And it is going to be in a 5x54, $5.99.
What?
Yeah.
For a Bolivar?
A 6x54, $7.29. A Giganta 6x60, $7.89.
That's more than affordable.
Yeah. And it's Bolivar.
Yeah.
It's Bolivar.
When I think Bolivar and I see it on the shelf, I'm thinking I'm going to be in that $15 to $20 range. You're telling me it's about half price? That is a bargain for the quality.
You as a shop owner, what does that do for you?
That excites me. That's really good because that's a great price point on a cigar that I know is going to have an outstanding flavor and the heritage behind it.
Yeah, that's one of those cigar brands that you don't have to try to sell somebody on. You don't have to.
No, when you know it's a long existing Cuban brand now making cigars and you have that kind of price point, that's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's what the consumer wants.
And it's easy to take their blends and say, try this when you don't have this.
Yeah.
So Dave's saying it's easy to take their blends and say, try this when you don't have this. So yeah, fantastic news. All right, guys, stay tuned. We will be right back. All right, welcome back, guys. We've got a little bit more news, right?
Absolutely.
Cigar news. That's what we're here for. Cigar news. What's new out there? I want to know what's new.
Absolutely.
You as a shop owner want to know what's new, right? Be able to sell something to your clients, your clientele, that you're going to be able to help expand their palates and growing something and getting them introduced to something new. We had something old, like established, legendary, like Bolivar. Now I've got Diesel.
Diesel.
Okay. We've had it on here before, the Whiskey Row edition.
Yep.
Rabbit Hole. We had that pairing.
Yep.
And that was fantastic. They're going to do a collection. This is the 4th collaboration with the release of Whiskey Row. And they're doing a Mizunara. I want to say that. Probably wrong. I speak a little Japanese, okay, but I'm not familiar with this word. A cigar that highlights the mastery of blending. The Mizunara was developed by Justin Andrews, blended by AJ Fernandez, go figure, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And handcrafted at the Tabacalera AJ Fernandez in Esteli, Nicaragua. The cigar features a proprietary aging process and leverages rare Japanese Mizunara oak barrels that were used to age Rabbit Hole's 15-year-old Mizuna Founders Collection bourbon. Okay, I need to find that. Limited edition cigar blend is centered on a proprietary Nicaraguan Habano binder leaf selected for aging in the virgin Japanese Mizunara oak cask that aged Rabbit Hole Mizunara Founders Collection bourbon, which was released in 2021. The barrels impart hints of oak, black pepper, and other exotic nuances on the binder leaves. When blended with Nicaraguan Habano filler tobacco and crowned with a rich Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, the cigar delivers a rich smoking experience layered with notes of earth, spice, cinnamon, and cream.
Not something you expect in a Connecticut to necessarily have a spicy note like black pepper. That's more what you think about with Habanos.
But it does have a Nicaraguan Habano filler.
Filler, right.
So interesting. Yeah, Justin Andrews said, with Diesel Whiskey Row Founders Collection Mizunara, we have given the binder leaf a distinctive personality through its contact with the hand-shaped barrels to create a unique smoking experience. This cigar pairs beautifully with bourbon,
Imagine that.
and creates an equally memorable smoking occasion on its own.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can smoke this cigar on its own and go, wow.
Why
Okay?
would you do that? You've got to find a great Japanese whiskey to pair
Oh,
with
yeah, that would be cool. I don't know. I'm going to pair it with anything whiskey. Diesel Whiskey Row Founders Collection Mizunara is being released exclusively in a Toro format. Okay, so it was blended in that Vitola only. Again, something else that was blended just for that Vitola. I love that. 6x50, 52 in elegant boxes that mirror the packaging of Rabbit Hole Mizunara Founders Collection. It will sell for $15.99 each, or $159.90 for a 10-count box. Okay. It debuted the whole Whiskey Row debuted in 2018 and marked the first collaboration between Diesel and Rabbit Hole. It was the first cigar to feature a binder leaf aged in the Rabbit Hole bourbon barrels and generated a significant following among cigar lovers nationwide. I enjoyed mine that I had that matched the Rabbit Hole bourbon and the cigar from those barrels of that bourbon. I enjoyed that pairing. So the partnership expanded in 2019 with the launch of Whiskey Row Sherry Cask, and includes Diesel Whiskey. Boy, that is just a tongue tangler. Diesel Whiskey Row Founders Collection Boxer Grail, which was released in 2023. Yeah, that sounds fun. Sounds like something I need to find for me and Dave Yancey to do. Sounds fun. What do you got?
Alec Bradley,
Oh, okay.
always a great blend, launches their Safe Keepings brand with the first release from its founder's blend book. Safe Keepings, a new brand that will feature blends made according to recipes recorded in the Alec Bradley Founders Blend Book.
Okay.
Going back in time to grab some old blends. Alec Bradley ambassador Bradley Rubin explained, when we felt the time was right, we opened the blend book and started to do a deep dive on the blend recipes inside. Together with the team, we selected the first blend we wanted to roll out. Alec Bradley Safe Keepings honors the blend legacy of Alec Bradley Cigars brand while giving us the opportunity to move forward with resources we never would have been able to access before. Alec and I are extremely proud of what Safe Keepings represents, and that's a nod to the past and a glance into the future of the brand. Alec Bradley Safe Keepings is a Nicaraguan Puro crafted by Oliva at Tabolosa, featuring tobaccos from pristine fields in Esteli, Candega, and Jalapa. That's something we've been hearing about.
Yeah, we have.
New fields opening up.
Wow, okay.
So virgin soil and old seeds coming out. The blend built on a foundation of Jalapa Candega and Esteli Criollo 98 tobaccos, and both its wrapper and binder are Nicaraguan Habano. The experience is medium to full-bodied with notes of pepper, spice, and coca. The line is being launched with 4 sizes that ship in June. Will become a permanent addition to the Alec Bradley cigar brand portfolio. Each of the front marks comes in 24 count boxes.
24.
We've got a Corona,
Okay.
537 by 46, SRP of $10.50.
Okay.
The Robusto 5 by 52, $12.29. Toro 6 by 52 of $13.89. And the Gordo 660 of $15.19. So,
Wow, that's not bad.
not a bad
It's
price.
not bad.
point.
I mean, $10. Starting at 10 for a Corona, and it's a blend that, is, what was it saying about it? It's calling it Safe Keepings.
Yeah,
So it's bringing something out of the vault.
exactly. Some of the old blenders, the seed libraries, let's call them, have stuff that maybe hasn't even been planted for 40, 50 years. And they're going back to these seed libraries and going, I hadn't heard of that with the new blenders.
Yeah.
Because they hadn't seen it in production. So they're planting it and now in virgin fields. So they get that first production off and now they go, wait a second, that's not anything we've had before. Let's put that in a nice new release.
Yeah.
We've seen that with several different manufacturers who really own the whole vertical, seed to production. And
Interesting.
you're seeing some great things coming out. I know
Yeah.
one of ours that has done that is Artista.
Yeah.
They have this seed library. The Buffalo 10's always been great, but when you try a Harvest or the Midnight and you go, whoa, that's an amazing, amazing blend.
It's always exciting to
Bring
see-
back the past.
bring back the past, or you're bringing back the past with a new twist. Because it's an old seed, new soil, and I would love to be a fly on the wall, if you will, in a blending room like that with some of the master blenders like that are going through that thinking process of doing exactly this.
Yes.
And then tasting those leaves and seeing exactly you know, what they're coming up with. It was like we mentioned with Noel Rojas with the Stolen Throne and the Somoto tobacco. That was new soil, had never been farmed before, upper part of Nicaragua. And when he was at a rolling event, and he had that tobacco there, and he rolled up a leaf for me and said, "Here, smoke this." And I just smoked only the Somoto, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have never tasted anything like this before in other tobaccos. So that's exciting. And coming from somebody, we know you know, they've been bought out, you know, they now owned by Scandinavian Tobacco Group.
Right.
But they still have the creative input.
And that's what I think a lot of the producers are doing, is going, you've been doing this so well for so long. We want you to continue that, but you have the support of a large company like STG.
Yeah.
Who can say, do what you've been doing and do it safely and securely, and being able to experiment like that. I mean, growing a field, that's a big investment.
Yeah. Well, it's like this cigar here, Sancho Panza, Extra Cheeto. This is Matt Booth. He still have the he's got the creative input in this, and this is the first time smoking this, and I'm drinking it with this IPA, and Extra Cheeto in Spanish means cool. So is this cool like cool, dude, or is this cool like in temperature? You know, because the flavors that I'm getting out of this is on the cool side.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm wondering, is it a play on words?
It may be.
You know, and just knowing Matt Booth and his creative juices that he has, because this is this is my first time smoking this, and what I'm getting out of it is something on the cooler side. The smoke is cool. It's lighter, but it's still flavorful.
Very.
It seems like a lot of the lines are now coming up where they're exploring the pairings of the seeds with the terroir.
Yes.
Yeah. Dave's talking about they're exploring the seeds with the what?
With the terroir.
Terroir. What is that?
The whole environment, the ecological,
The whole environment, ecological stuff.
The soil.
Soil, yeah. Yeah, you would have. I mean, you would have to. I mean, just knowing that I like Nicaraguan tobacco. If you said, I don't want to know what cigar you like, Dave. I don't hate it, okay, but it's really hard to answer that question. When people say, Dave, what's your favorite cigar? I don't frickin' know.
What's in my hand?
That's a good cigar, what's in my hand, and I'm enjoying it. But my favorite tobacco usually comes from Nicaragua because of the pepper, the earthiness, the different, those types of bold flavors that I get from Nicaragua. So I'm going to tell you what tobaccos I like, not what particular cigar is my favorite.
Right.
That's what I'm going to go to. So this is some great news, all right? So we will get along to something else, right, guys? All right, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Today's Cigar Tip is brought to you by McAuliffe Cigars.
Help me out, Stephen. I need a tip.
Okay. I need a refill.
You do?
I've got an empty lighter, nearly empty lighter, so I use a bleed tool.
Bleed tool.
Make sure I get all the air out of it.
Neat gadget.
That's from Kevin Shahan, Cigar Props.
Cigar Prop.
So I bled all the air out that came in when I was lighting it, and then I refill it.
Yep.
And make sure I can see it's filled up. Give it a second.
Get it warmed up.
Get it warmed up. And now I'm back to a great flame.
We've got a cigar. Great tip, right, guys?
2 families, 1 cigar. Join the Ambassador Program today to make it a perfect blend.
Dave, what are we doing?
I noticed we got 2 bottles this time. Is this because of last week?
I think it is because of last week. maybe we're starting something new.
Double pairings every
Double
time?
pairings, right?
Well, I mean, this cigar here, Apostate Cigars.
Apostate Cigars out of Utah. I don't know if you guys caught it. I had them on the show. I did a little cut and light with them at Latitude Cigars, and we got to sit down and talk about their blends. This is the Sword of Laban.
Yes.
This size is just killer.
This is a beautiful cigar, and I don't know if you remember, but for 2023, Leaf and Grain Society's top 5 cigars for the year, the Zaramella.
Yeah.
That cigar was my number 1, personal number 1, and was our number 3 cigar.
Okay.
Of the year, followed by Luciano and McAuliffe.
Wow.
I mean, following Luciano number 1 and McAuliffe number 2.
Yeah.
So I've smoked this cigar. I'm looking forward to this pairing. We also featured Brandon and Apostate in our second issue of our magazine too.
Okay. Yeah, he did mention that you guys had done a good review with him. Of course, I saw it too. But if you guys missed that, go out there and watch that. Last month, I did a cut and light with Apostate,
and
Brandon,
you had
and
Kendrick,
both of them there, to really get some insight on the blends, and Joche Blanco being the blender for them and how they have to work with him. I mean, so you're talking about it. These are blended and rolled at a factory, and they've got access to tobacco that is just second to none type of tobaccos, right?
And what I like about Apostate is that each blend is specific for the Vitola.
Yeah.
You will not find the Sword in a different Vitola other than this Lanceto right here.
That's it. And then, you know what? Yes, Stephen, as a shop owner, just like we were talking to Charles over there, when you've got a cigar that is only this Vitola, you're talking about shelf space. And for a cigar shop owner, shelf space is gold.
Shelf space is gold.
And so Kendrick is a shop owner. So he understands that. What's also cool is these come in bundles, and they have a dress box that sits on the shelf. And each box will spell out Apostate once you get all the Vitolas. And like I said, this is like, to me, a cross between a Corona and a Lancero and a Churchill type, Vitola.
It's a little bit bigger ring gauge than a true Lancero. It's more like a double Corona in size. In size,
yeah. But the ring gauge for this is, I just love it because I sit there and I do this.
Well,
it feels great.
The band is artwork, is artwork in itself, and how each letter represents something within their religion.
Yeah,
they're
Mormon religion. Yeah.
Mormon religion, and there is such a story and history behind every single one of them. So
again, you can go out to either Leaf and Grain and watch the interview the write-up that you did with him.
We had Brandon on our show.
Yeah.
So you can go to our YouTube channel and see that. But if you really want to see a really good write-up of just the story behind, then go out and look at our magazine.
Yeah, and then, like I said, last month I did a cut and light with him, and we talked with him, and they just talked with everybody in the shop. Okay, this is the next cigar. Okay, this is the next cigar. And they talked about each blend and what you were going to, tasting notes and everything that you were going to get. I don't remember any of the tasting notes right now that they talked about. So, and I didn't get to smoke this one that night. I smoked the Deseret with Kendrick, loved it. I smoked the Deseret again in my man cave and loved it. And then we smoked, I've smoked the is it the Lahona? No, the Initiatory.
The Initiatory, yes.
I smoked that back in Indiana when I had met them for the first time. Great cigar. I love that one too. But then the other one that we smoked was the Feathered Serpent.
The Candela.
Oh my
Yes.
goodness.
The Candela is such a hard blend to do, and there's very few Candelas that I really enjoy.
Yeah.
And the Feathered Serpent is one of them.
And the
So
thing
good.
that they explained about their Candela is that wrapper leaf is thicker
yes.
than your normal Candela wrappers. And it's a closed foot. So you're going to get that burst when you light
you
it
get
up.
that
and
burst
yeah.
of flavors in it.
And he had us kind of peel it off and kind of look at it and test and see how thick it was compared to the other Candelas that you have. Candela is a very hard wrapper to work with.
It's an extremely hard wrapper to work with, and really because of the frailty of that wrapper, because typically they're really thin, and the way they get it is they have to kind of shock that fermentation process to stop.
Yeah. Yeah.
To give you that, that and a Candela, the actual color, because we were talking on the last show before we started the last show, is that there is no leaf called a Candela. It's a process. And the actual color spectrum of it is a double claro.
Double claro, yes. Yeah, right. I was going to tell you, you need to draw on that. I don't want this thing to go out. So again, we're smoking the Sword of Laban and Apostate Cigars. They're out of Utah. Fantastic guys. Love those guys. I like, for me personally, when I get, so we're going to go with this one
I'm
first.
going with the rye
okay,
first.
We're going to go with the rye first.
Because that little hint of spice that I just got on that back end of the tongue.
Okay, all right,
on
cool.
that one, it's like, oh, I've got to hit this.
But when I get to talk to owners of a cigar company, and I get their backstory and I understand them more, it makes me appreciate their cigars more.
Absolutely agree. And both Brandon and Kendrick are just such phenomenal guys, down to earth, humble.
Yeah.
Humble. And I love Brandon, but when you look at him, and just the way he carries himself, with the way he dresses, and you wouldn't think that he would be humble. The dude is so humble, down to earth. I could sit and talk with him for hours.
Yeah.
And have.
Yeah. He was there at the shop for a couple of hours when we did that little cut and light with them, and it was just something that this is what I was talking about with them. They had some shops to go to, and they were, they're selling their cigars and trying to get them into shops. And I said, hey guys, I see that you're in the area. I would love to do something with you. And here's another shop down here, and they had no problem. And then I loved on top of that, Lauren with McAuliffe. She's good friends with them.
Yes.
Because she has McAuliffe cigars in Kendrick's shop.
In Kendrick's shop, yeah.
And she drove all the way down just because they were at the lounge.
Well, when they were here, I think it was back in December, when they were here prior, and we got to meet with them. We met with them at the Underground, and Lauren came in, and Ash Lilly came in, which they're good friends with Ash Lilly, and
oh wow, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen her in a while. She's down there around Waco area.
She's around the Austin area.
Waco,
she's just she's just outside of there. So because Brandon was there, and this was our December 15th. Yeah, this was in December because this is our December 15th, the initial release of our magazine. And so there was a number of people that were there through all of this, and Brandon was there on that time period. It was just a great time, but it was good seeing all of the cigar people coming around and just sitting down, having conversation. I mean, it's like what your tagline is.
Grow the culture.
Grow the culture.
Yeah.
Enjoy
the leaf and grow the culture. Enjoy, and that's what we do when we're doing these cigar pairings. We definitely enjoy the leaf. And
the drink.
And the drink. And so what we're drinking here is,
so this is rye. This is RY3, and we were talking about this earlier this week. A lot of different distilleries are doing Madiera cask finish. So the Madiera is another type of oak. It's another type of white oak.
Okay.
And want to say this is a Japanese.
Okay.
This is a Japanese white oak. I could be wrong on that, so please let me know.
If he's wrong, let him know. But yeah, I've got some Scotch that's finished in a Madiera cask, and I really enjoy that.
We're seeing a lot of bourbons and American whiskey style whiskeys that are doing Madiera cask.
So that's my first rye RY3 bottle. The other one you brought on the show, that was a killer bottle.
That was an American light whiskey.
Yeah, well,
which is a completely different.
It was like 140 something.
Yes.
Yes. That's your high proof.
So
this is 59.3. Is that right?
Yes.
59.3.
So this is just under 120.
So this is getting to your high proof.
This is, so
120 is high proof.
120 for me personally, and a lot of us that are in the industry, we say 120 plus is high proof.
Yeah, and I'm growing into that. Before, I think you can if you were to look back through some of my old shows when we had you on the show and we were doing something, there was one, I think it might have been that one you brought or something, I can't remember what it was, but it was very high proof, and I was just like,
yep.
You could see it in my face.
I want to say that one was 151.
Yeah, so
it was in that, but the light whiskey, that classification of a whiskey can be that high of a proof. It can go into the barrel higher, where ryes and bourbons and scotches cannot go into the barrel higher than 62.5. So 125 proof.
Okay. I don't get all that, but
can go in much higher.
I don't get all that, but I do like tasting the finished product.
I do too.
So again, we've got this
cheers.
is a rye. This is a rye.
This is a rye.
Okay.
In a Madiera cask.
Look at that. We're drinking out of our leaf and grain glasses again. Stephen's got them here at Tobacco Cabana.
Thank you, Stephen, for supporting.
Supporting, yeah, exactly. Why do we swirl?
Just like
other than it's fun.
It opens it up.
Opens it up, right?
It opens up the body. And a couple of things. When I'm reviewing and when I'm teaching how to enjoy whiskey, a couple of things. One of the things that we look at is we look at the color on it. And so this is a nice golden.
It is.
We would consider a light amber a golden on this. So love that golden look on it. What this tells me with this is that it's a little bit younger on it, okay, because it hasn't had as much exposure to the charred oak as say a 9, 7, 8, 9 year. So this hasn't had as much exposure to it. It could also be that, say, this was aged for 4 years, 4, 5, 6 years, and then put into another cask, which we know that this has because it's been finished.
Madeira, finished in a Madeira cask.
This doesn't have an age statement.
So it is cask strength.
It is cask strength. So that means that it's what it went into the cask. That's it. This is it. They did not cut this down.
Okay, so I'm excited. I've had this before, obviously. I've already opened it up. I've had it at the house. But again, I was just drinking it with a cigar. I wasn't paying attention. And
that apricot.
Yeah, it's definitely got some stone fruits.
That is a rye for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, that apricot on there is...
Little bit of burn on the nose, which, granted, it's right at 120. But that's fine with me.
That sweetness right at the very front of it.
Oh, yeah.
And then those oils, and that's a...
Yeah. See, I like this because here's what I'm saying. I've had this before. I just drank it. I was sitting there with the guys. We were talking, so I wasn't really paying attention to it. And it was. I remember thinking in my mind, okay, it's good. But when I sit here with Dave, and I have this session, this pairing session going on, and now it's like, okay, now we really want to pay attention to what we're doing, and we're going drink to cigar and cigar to drink and so forth, and paying attention to the notes that we're getting on the nose and the palate. It's like I pick up different things, because it's a whole new experience almost.
Okay, so hear me out on this. Stephen, I think you're going to get where I'm coming from with this. It's got a sweet up front. Then think back to your pecan pies and that buttery pecan. You know, where you got a nice pecan pie and you've got that nice buttery but yet sugar coating on that pecan. So you get a little bit of that pecan notes, you get those buttery notes on it, and you get that viscosity, that thickness of it. Mm-hmm. That's what I'm getting in the middle.
So it's not that you're getting a pecan pie. It's
That's what it reminds me of.
Okay. But it's that viscosity that I know when you eat a pecan pie and it's got that thickness to that filling, and that little sweetness to it. I love pecan pie.
I love pecan pie too, but it's that viscosity, it's that thickness, it's that sweetness, it's that butteriness, but it's that nuttiness that's kind of sitting behind the scenes on it. And it's right there, so it hits you off with the sweet. As it's coming across your palate, you hit that middle of
Lord.
it.
You need to go cigar to drink.
I have gone to cigar to drink.
Well, then you need to tell me about it, because that was just, that nuttiness just came through more.
That's a buttery pecan pie.
That buttery nuttiness just came through more on that. It was delicious. That was like dessert right there. Mm-hmm.
And then you're getting a little bit of the rice spice at the very back.
At the very back now, it's still finishing right now.
Oh, the finish is beautiful.
It's still finishing.
Okay.
So that's what we're talking about. When, does it have a long finish, medium finish? As I'm talking right here, I am still tasting.
Yeah.
So that's got a long finish. And that's what I like.
That's what you want.
I mean, yeah, you don't want to just drink it and it's gone.
Yeah, and I've had so many different ones where it's like I drink it, and then a couple of seconds later it's like, okay, what did I just have? You don't want that. You want that long finish that goes, okay, I need to take another drink of this because this is so good.
Yeah.
I don't know what's wrong with you guys.
Well, I'm just being careful. Steven's showing off his ash over there. His ash is about this long, and it's just rock solid. But yeah, he says it's beautiful, and it is. I'm just being careful. I don't want to ash all over.
I've already ashed mine once.
Yeah, and look at it. The ash is just standing up in there. I mean, it's just, that's, his ash was just standing up in there. I'm just being careful.
The longer the ash, the more you're going to dull the smoke.
Right. I mean, so keep it on a good inch.
Yeah, I typically like that 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches. When it hits that 2-inch mark, then I'm gonna.
It's picture worthy. Snap you a picture and then knock it off.
Then go on. Move on.
I know some guys that do ashes, and they'll ash. I mean, the ash is just like that freaking long. You have to be laying on your back.
But then you ask those guys, what are you getting? Oh, I'm just getting smoking tobacco.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
Yeah, because you're smoking ash.
But what's the problem with that is that it cools down the cherry. So you're not burning those oils that are inside the tobacco. And that's where we're getting our flavors from.
Yeah, that's just, so now it's just cigar. I need to go
drink the cigar is just beautiful.
I need to go drink to cigar next. But I'm really enjoying this cigar. This is the first time I've smoked this cigar. Have you had this one before?
I have.
You smoked this when you interviewed Brandon?
I smoked it a few days afterwards.
Okay.
I was smoking the Zaramella.
Okay.
Forgive me, Brandon, if I'm pronouncing it wrong. You've told me so many times, but it's the box press.
We call it the Z.
The Z, yes.
We call it the Z.
Which was, I mean, still that one to this day is my absolute favorite out of their line. This is a phenomenal smoke.
Yeah, they're all good.
This pairing is one, as I would say, goes down for the books.
Yeah, this is definitely on point. So we actually have something else here to drink, right?
Yes. So this here is another one that you showed me. And there's something that Balcones does with their single malts. And American single malts are growing. I mean, we're seeing Jack Daniels is doing an American single malt. We're seeing so many distilleries, big distilleries that's doing single malts. And I've always loved what Balcones does with their single malts.
I'm sorry, I'm still raving about going drink to cigar on this. That was just fantastic. So I picked this up at Liquor Depot.
Good.
They had this there, and called a friend. I had never seen it before. I love Balcones, and I'd never seen it before. So I said, "What do you think?" He goes, "Oh, yeah, that's supposed to have some really unique flavors, hard to find. Go ahead and grab it." So I did. Thank you again, Liquor Depot. Picked this one up in Arlington. Found that one there. I was passing through that area, and figured, hey, I saw Liquor Depot, and might as well go over there and see what they've got. This is 59%. So again, we're coming up on 118.
Yeah, this 118. I've got to read this. This single malt, made with 100% Golden Promise malted barley, was the first aged in refill casks, then in a variety of decommissioned casks of Sherry Solera, Punch Nose, Moscatel, Armantadillo, Dolce, and others I can't even pronounce.
You're speaking another language, Dave.
Others I can't even pronounce.
You're speaking another language.
So multiple casks finished on this.
Wow.
I'm curious. I'm really curious as to what it's going to bring out, and the fact that this is a nice high proof.
Yeah, high
on
proof.
this, which you don't typically see on single malts.
Yeah, and so a single malt is the malt is all at one distillery, correct?
So single malt is the malt. It's distilled and bottled from the same
place.
From the same place.
You're not going to get it from other.
No.
Yes.
Blended single malt is going to be multiple.
Yes.
Is going to be multiple distills. We typically see in America single malts. We don't typically find blended single malts. That's going to be an Irish or a Scotch. And a single grain, to differentiate the single grain, is going to have that malt plus other sugar grains in it.
Okay. You like single malts?
I love single malts.
Okay, cool. I'm glad I brought this.
Absolutely love. I came into bourbons from Scotch.
Okay.
I started out with Scotch.
Okay.
And then came into bourbons.
Okay. Yeah. I'm all for just trying anything new. And anything that somebody suggests, oh, I love this. If I can buy it, I will definitely try it. If somebody give me a taste of it, it took me a while to get into bourbons. I didn't think I had a palate for bourbon until Stephen, I've told this story before, Stephen let me try, I can't remember which bottle it was, but it was a Garrison Brothers over at his house. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is what good bourbon tastes like. And then the journey was on from there. We were over at his house for dinner, and he let me try that, and I was like, wow, this is fantastic. So then all of a sudden, once I got to that level, then I was like, okay, now I understand. Like we talked about last show,
Yeah.
trying to get to that point of being able to handle bourbons
Yes.
and that proof. And then, of course, being on the show here with you, having you on here and introducing me to so many things. And now we get to the point to where I'm the one bringing the pairings.
I don't remember the last time I actually brought a pairing to the show. That David has taken over that level of
It's fun.
responsibility.
It's fun,
It's
man.
a lot of fun.
It's fun.
So you mentioned your first bourbon. My first bourbon.
I mean, I've had other bourbons, but that was the bourbon that switched gears for me.
So the bourbon that switched gears for me, that really brought me into bourbons,
Okay.
was Woodford's Reserve Double Oak.
Okay. Now that is a good.
That's not a slouch bourbon.
We did a pairing with you at Latitude with the Double Oak. That was one of the bourbons that we did a blind.
We did a blind. That was so much fun because what we did is we had two different bourbons, and we had the participants taste them and describe the notes, and then they were to guess, try to determine what it was.
Of course, they could just say which one they preferred.
Yes.
Out of the two, but then try to guess what it was. Now, if you've drank enough bourbon, see, that's what I don't want to do.
That's exactly what I mean.
If you drank enough bourbon, then maybe you can pinpoint it. I'm not at that point. I'm not at that point to where I can say, oh, this is this or this is that. I might be able to say this is a rye and this is a wheated or something. I'm getting to that point. I'm just still in the point of I'm having fun pairing stuff and finding things that I like to drink with cigars that I like to smoke.
I can pick out from, rye to wheated bourbon to Scotch. I can tell you from an Irish to a Scotch and an Islay. There's there's few that I can come out and go, okay, this is exactly what it is.
Yeah, I can definitely, I can tell you an Islay Scotch, obviously. I can probably tell you a Highlands or a Speyside. And I like Scotches.
I'm going to have
Scotch.
We're going to have to, we need
to do another Scotch.
We need to do a Scotch, and we need to do one where we bring out a Highland and a Speyside. And
an Islay, or no?
Islay easier to tell.
Yeah,
it's either going to be peaty or smoky.
Or smoky, yeah.
But maybe a Highland, a Speyside, and a Campbellton.
Okay, all right. Yeah, we'll plan on doing that sometime. Maybe next show. Tell us, you guys, if you've got a preference for Scotches, and we're not talking about Scotches right now. We're talking about whiskey.
This is
whiskey.
Okay. Keep your eye out on American single malts because we are extremely close on that being ratified as another spirit.
Oh, wow, okay.
Correct me if I'm wrong, viewers, because it's been a while since I looked at it, but as far as I know, right now, American single malts isn't a ratified distinguished spirit just as of yet, but we're in the process of it.
I have to ask Dwayne Poor about that. That's what I do. But go back to this cigar. So we're getting into halfway. We're right on there. He V-cut his, I straight cut mine. But construction-wise, you saw we haven't touched this thing up. The burn, his is rock solid. Steven's is rock solid over there. Mine's a little bit wavy, but I always attribute that I just am not rolling it in my fingers and just moving it around. And all you got to do is just roll it around and it'll catch up if it's a well-constructed cigar. So that's what I always appreciate. Then on top of that, when you've got tobaccos and flavors like this in a cigar. So let's get into this. So we've already done the RY3. Mm-hmm. Now we're at the Balcones single malt. What is this called?
This is a Texas single malt.
Cataleja. Texas single malt. So talk about that Texas funk.
So the Texas funk.
People talk, if you don't know, a lot of people do not like Texas whiskeys because of that Texas funk. Some Texas whiskeys have more of it than others.
That typically, and I wouldn't expect that to come from here.
Yeah.
Because that Texas funk typically comes from the Texas corn that we use. So when it's a grain to glass, the Texas funk typically comes from the corn that we use, and it's a little bit more of a musky type note.
It's the corn and not the water?
It's the corn. It could be the water, but I'm equating it to the corn, and here's why. Here's why. Because we do have some Texas whiskey that has the limestone water.
Yeah, it's the limestone water.
That has the limestone water, but still has that Texas funk to it.
Okay.
So I don't think it's the water. My own personal opinion.
Yeah, sure.
My own personal opinion. I don't think it's the water. The limestone water is a cleaner water than most Texas water. But we do have some Texas whiskeys that use the limestone water that still has that Texas funk.
There are some.
Bit of a musky note.
There are some that one in particular, I'm not going to name it.
No.
But it has some funk that I just can't handle. I just can't handle it. It was like that. Now I see what you guys are talking about with. When I've always drank Balcones, I've drank Andalusia, I've drank Still Austin, all those guys. I don't get what either I like that funk. But this other one that I had, it was a Texas whiskey, and that funk was so prominent I cannot touch that bottle
See,
again.
this doesn't have the Texas
So
funk
you've
in it.
already drank it, okay?
Yeah, this does not have the Texas funk into it. And in fact, when the first sip on it, you get immediately what you want to get from a single malt.
Yes.
And there's
Yes.
that full breath. You got the floral notes on it.
Yes.
There's also a little bit of a chocolatey,
Yeah, little bit.
little bit of chocolatey note on it, which is what you want to get from a single malt.
And this is straight down the middle of my tongue. Barely hits the sides of it. And then it hits the back. So I'm still tasting it. Obviously, 118 proof. Steven says,
Seems
yes.
like, give me some of that.
Steven says, yes, please.
You guys are going to have to try the retro hail on this cigar.
Oh, well, heck
have.
yeah. I mean, I've been
Retrohaling the entire
But I want to
time, too.
retrohale after I drink this.
And it is so perfectly mild
Yeah.
that you can almost retrohale the entire thing.
Yeah. So Steven's saying it is so mild that you can almost retrohale the entire draw that you pull in.
Graham cracker on the retrohale. Graham cracker.
So many notes on that.
Okay, I do this a lot. Keep in mind, and you've heard me say this, David, you've heard me say this many times. When we're learning, when we're experiencing notes, there's two ways you can do it. We can do it through the scientific phase of it, but most often when we are experiencing notes, it's through the memories. It's the psychological aspects of it, right?
Yeah.
That retro, graham cracker right up the front, not a s'mores type, but just that little bit of earthiness, a little bit of honey, a little bit of sweetness.
Yeah.
But then right through the middle of it, when you have a cucumber salad with mozzarella cheese and the tomatoes in there, how that little bit of a tartness from the cucumbers come in, that hit me on the middle.
I can see the graham cracker, but it's still for this, it's that graham cracker light cocoa. I don't like cucumbers, so I'm not going to even think about cucumbers.
It's not going to hit your memory on that.
Exactly.
And I'm not a cucumber. I mean, you will never see me, do cucumbers in the vinegar and such by itself. But
No.
the cucumbers with mozzarella cheese and the tomatoes and that whole mixture of it, that very tail end of the retro is what it reminded me of.
My
I
wife-
don't know what aspect of it is, but that's what it reminded me of.
My wife will, if she's just sitting there where, she needs, you want a snack or something, she will grab a cucumber and just eat it, just bite on a cucumber. And I'm like, yuck.
My ex-wife would do the same, but she's the one that introduced me to that, to that type of a salad on it, and I was just like, okay, that reminded me of it, and it was a good memory. So now with this,
The retro, you really get to appreciate.
That's
the
really,
San Andreas that's in it.
that's really good. This is a great pairing. I think either one of these drinks go with this cigar.
either one of these drinks go with this cigar, but if I had to pick a pairing, and I said this one was down for the books, this pairing here is just,
Yeah.
I think this pairing here with the floralness of the single malt is just really bringing out aspects of the cigar that just really is just really nice and enjoyable. Both great pairings, both down for the books. Between the two, this one would be my favorite.
Let's do this. That's always cool.
This is why we do the tulip-shaped glasses. Because
Yeah.
look.
Yeah, mine.
Hold your glass up.
Mine is still in there.
And mine has escaped.
His is already gone, and mine's just sitting there twirling around. Yeah, that's just fun. It looks like a science project. But, yeah, you can get it in there, and then it'll just go away. But mine sits there and just hangs. Look, it's still hanging around in there.
Guys, gals, when you're discovering and you're exploring the notes of your drink, especially when you're exploring the pairings between the cigar and your drink, always go with either a Glencairn or a tulip-shaped glass, such as this, because it helps concentrate those notes and funnel those notes out to where
it does matter.
rocks glass is going to let it escape.
Yeah, it does matter.
This helps keep it in.
And we've talked about that plenty of times before. Beer, everything else. There are beers that need to be poured in a certain type of glass to release the head and get the flavors out. Same thing with I mean, there's still smoke in there.
Yeah,
it's still sitting in there.
Well, we've heard your tequila guy. What's his name again?
Carlos.
Carlos has been on the show, and we talked to Carlos a number of different times, and Carlos says even with tequilas, and you bring out mezcals, you talk about sotals, you bring out the different agave style type drinks, you still want to go with this type of a glass, and he talked about a stemmed
type of fluted grass,
fluted tulip shape, because it helps funnel those notes out so that you can really experience what it is that they have to bring.
Yeah.
Vodkas go with this.
Yeah, you're not nosing a vodka, are you?
There are some vodkas that I'm going to nose. So Neft, if you've been watching social media, Neft is really starting to try to build up their awareness. Neft is a sipping vodka. And what we mean by sipping vodka is that it's a vodka that was typically pot stilled first before it went to column still to follow the vodka regulations or what have you. But you still can pick up some of those types of flavors. And Neft was distilled from a rye berry or rye grain. And so you can pick up some of those stone fruit, some of that spiciness from it. Buffalo?
With that grassy note, oh man.
I have to agree. So I just drank the RY3, the rye over there, with this again, and after drinking this, that Balcones with this cigar is a lot more pairable, if you will. That was really, really good.
Balcones is a very interesting distillery. Personally, I'm not a fan of the blue. I'm not a fan of the rumble.
Make a rumble old fashioned?
Stephen is having a heart attack over here because of what I just said. But they're single malts. Balcones single malts and Westford single malts have really brought single malts into the American. You know, we talked about Andalusia. I'm the one who introduced Andalusia.
Yeah, you are.
And Andalusia is doing phenomenal things with single malts. Balcones to me, Balcones with their single malts have set the bar.
Yeah, okay. Totally. I mean, I love Balcones. I love Andalusia. I love Texas whiskeys. I guess it just fits my palate. I like them. I like Balcones, and they've got enough expressions in their whiskeys that you'll find something of theirs that you like.
And I'm so excited to see what they're able to do in the next coming years. I mean, we've seen them really step up. You know, now that they have the resources.
They were bought
Diageo,
out.
They're bought out by Diageo, and they've got the resources. And I've talked to representatives from Diageo, and I've talked to Balcones themselves. And Balcones still has creative rights. Right. You know, creative
input
of what they're doing. They're letting Balcones still run, but now that they have the funding of Diageo behind them, they're able to do so much more. And I've got to say that this one here, this one comes into rotation worthy, not just shelf collection.
Have you tried that one before?
No, this is a brand new one for me.
That's me too.
I've had the black single malt, and I've had their other ones, but this is brand new to me. This is one that I'm going to go out and search for. Rye 3, I've been a fan of Rye 3 for so long.
Yeah.
Both great drinks. Both go really good with this Apostate cigar.
So what does that say about a cigar when we have two spirits here that are pretty different? These are pretty different. The proof is about the same, but the profiles are pretty different. Mm-hmm. What does that say about a cigar when you're able to drink two spirits with it and go, I think it goes with either one. Yes, I like this one better, but you know what?
I can do this one all day long.
I can do that one, and I can do the other one, but yes, I like this one better.
Agreed.
But like on the other show where we had the cigars, and it was a definite like, you know what? Yeah, this is totally different. This is a better pairing, and this is the one you should go with. Whereas this one is, I don't care which one you go with, you're going to enjoy it. What does that say about a cigar when you have something like that?
I say that comes down to experience in the blending. Experience where the blender is wanting to create something that is going to go with more than one particular expression.
So you're talking about Hochi Blanco.
Yeah, and Hochi Blanco, come on, his name is well known.
Yeah.
Within the industry for so long. You're talking about a master blender. Mm-hmm. And there's few that I would put in there. Luciano, absolutely. Carrillo, Ernest.
Okay. Yeah.
Carrillo, AJ,
mm-hmm.
Fernandez. I'm absolutely 100% Carlito. Mm-hmm. There's few that can really come out and create a blend that can go with so many different types of expressions. I would take this cigar and I would put this cigar up with a Tempranillo, a Carmener, type wine.
What do you think about that Roxor we had on the last show?
Oh, that Roxor. That Roxor.
With that, that's a totally different, profile.
It's a totally different profile.
I'd give it a shot.
I would have to look at it.
I'd have to look at
it. I think that this cigar would overpower
the Roxor. You think so?
The Roxor. I'm not sure that I would go with this one with a gin. I think I would need a fuller intensity of that profile.
Gotcha.
Because the profile on both of these are pretty intense.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
And that Roxor, the profile was very nice, but as far as the intensity level of it, I wouldn't. It's not to the level of these two. Now, if we took that Roxor and brought the proof up on it, aged it more to where it had more of that viscosity, more of that oils to really carry that through, possibly so.
Yeah, okay. But so what you're saying then with this cigar is the more higher proof, intense whiskeys is better with this one. If you had a light Buffalo, let's say Buffalo
Trace coming in at 90 proof.
90 proof. If you got something like that with this, I think I'm not going to.
Absolutely no.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I think at an absolute minimum we would have to be at 100 proof.
Yeah. Now, am I saying that you should never drink Buffalo Trace with this cigar? No.
I'm not. No, 100% not. No. Buffalo Trace is a beautiful whiskey.
Yeah. Not saying that at all. I'm just saying if you want to experience the pairing aspects of something like this with a cigar like this and the more intense flavors, you need something like this rather than a Buffalo
Yes.
Trace. But
Yes.
I could sit there and smoke this cigar and drink Buffalo Trace or the new Traveler, you know, a very light whiskey from Buffalo, you know, same distillery. But you're not going to get that experience of going, oh my gosh, you know?
Okay, so let's take two that are both ages that are both the same proof. Let's take Evan Williams Bottle and Bond.
I love it, love it,
100 proof.
love it,
Aged 4 years.
love it.
Compared to Heaven Hill
Okay, love it.
Bottle and Bonds,
I
aged
like-
7 years.
I like Heaven Hill,
Think about the viscosity between the two
Yep.
of those.
right?
That Heaven Hill would go better with this one than Evan
I agree.
Williams.
Yeah, it's thicker, if you will. It's heavier. It's not as light. Just say that.
The flavors of it, and both are great bourbons. Both are fantastic bourbons. I've got both in my bar and keep both.
I do too.
Keep both all the time.
Yeah.
When I run out, I'm going out shopping.
Yeah.
The 7 year of the Heaven Hill, with that viscosity, with that weightiness, with that oily that it carries through with it, is what this cigar needs.
Yeah.
Does that
Yeah.
make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. Yeah. Because, I mean, I've talked about the guys at the lounge and stuff too, and we've talked about it here. You know, if I'm just sitting around having a cigar, there are some cigars I smoke, and it's just like, you know what? That's good tobacco. It's good tobacco. Yeah, it's a good cigar. But it doesn't have those pronounced flavors. It's tobacco. It's good tobacco. This has got notes of cedar, notes of cocoa, notes of, I want to say, a little bit of a floral in there. And then
A
you
little
put
bit
this
of that rose that we were
and
talking
then-
about on the last show.
yeah,
a little
and
bit
then-
of that rose.
Yeah, and then you put the intense flavors of this on top of it. Then you start getting these tastings of going, oh wow,
Yes.
that's fantastic. But I don't have to do that every single time I sit down and have a pour and have a cigar.
I don't do that
Yeah.
every single time
I
I sit
sit
down
da-
and have a pour.
I sit down. You've seen me in you know, the past 2 months. I've been in my cigar room at home, and you know, at the end of the day, I go in there and I have a cigar and I turn the TV on, and I'm having a cigar and I'm having some bourbon or water a lot of times, and I'm just smoking a good cigar and watching TV.
I would say for myself, you know, and we can say that we both do this professionally. Majority of the time, I don't specifically search out. Now, granted, because I do this so often, I'm typically gravitated towards what I know that's going to bring out that type. But I don't seek out with the purpose of going
Yeah,
okay, I want this cigar and I want this drink.
yeah,
I naturally gravitate, and this is what happens. The more you do this, the more that you grow your palate to where you understand the flavors of your drinks, the flavors of your cigar, and how they complement or contrast each other and what it's going to bring out. The more naturally and just secondhand nature that it's going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm drinking a Buffalo Trace, I'm going to grab this cigar. Or
Yeah.
I'm grabbing this cigar, I've got this cigar, I'm going to grab this to drink.
yeah. And you
And
just,
it's secondhand nature.
yeah, yeah.
You don't even have to think about it.
this is a cigar though that I want to really, you know, I've probably got about 100 bottles in my collection now. Not anywhere near what I know a lot of guys have, but hey, I'm happy. But this is a cigar that when I do go to my spirits over there and pick something, I know I am not going to pick a light whiskey. I'm going to pick something that is like this.
You're going to pick something that has, well, we
Because
talked about
of-
at the beginning of the segment,
Yeah.
something that has a little bit more body.
Yeah,
to it.
because I know what this cigar has in it as far as flavor profile. I want a whiskey that is going to be a little bit more prominent.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that comes with experience.
Yeah.
That comes with exploring. That comes with time.
Yeah.
You gotta try the different types of pairings and be able to understand what works and what doesn't work. I absolutely 100% would not smoke a Dominican or a Cuban with either of these.
No, no.
Because I would lose the cigar.
You would lose the cigar. I
would
totally
lose
agree.
the cigar in either of those.
Yep.
A Brazilian, yes.
Yeah.
An Ecuadorian, it depends.
Okay.
A Honduran, Nicaragua, no doubt, 100% every single time.
Yeah.
Because you want the cigar to be able to stand up to the drink.
Yeah.
And you want the drink to be able to stand up to the cigar.
Yeah.
And that's what we got.
Cool. Yeah. Very good. So another fantastic pairing. This was fun. We doing 2 bottles instead of 1, just like we did last show.
Is this going to be our new
I
format?
don't know. We don't ever know what we're doing. But it is fun to get on here and you go, you know what? Let's go ahead and do this. And I hope you guys enjoyed what we did here. If you have not found Apostate Cigars, you need to. These are unique, well thought out blends these guys have done.
They have put in their homework.
And they have a master blender on their side that has access to tobaccos that your average cigar maker doesn't have.
They don't. One of
I
the
mean,
things,
when he talked about the feathered serpent, the candela,
yes.
Hochi Blanco was like, I don't do candela.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
And then they said, yeah, but we want a candela. So he specifically grew a candela for them.
And he said, if I'm going to do a candela, this is how I want to do it.
Yeah.
And one of the things I love about Apostate is they have a flavor profile that they're looking for. In all blenders, honestly, they all do. But they said, I want to do this. This is a Vitola I want to do.
Yeah.
Blend it for this Vitola.
Yeah,
and there's something to that.
Yeah, there is. And that's what I like about there is 1 Vitola per cigar blend. That's all you're going to get. And what I liked about, what really clicked with me was with Kendrick. He's a musician. He's a piano player, songwriter, things like that. So he's got that creative flair to him on that level. He equated Hochi with them, saying Hochi is like the production guy. He's the one mixing. He's the one back there on the board mixing.
Yes.
They're the ones writing the music.
Yep.
He doesn't write the lyrics to the music, but he can say, look, you need this in your mix.
Kendrick is writing the music. Brandon is the conductor of the orchestra. And Hochi Blanco is the one that's back there behind the scene that's mixing it, that's bringing out this channel a little bit more and then pulling back on this channel a little bit less.
Yeah, that's one of those persons that, oh, you want this flavor in there, then you need this tobacco aged this way, this, whatever. And he has the palate to know what kind of tobacco you need to get out of that. And that's what Apostate has. So again, fantastic pairing. This was really fun. Yeah, we're pretty close, Dave.
We're pretty good.
I'm proud of you.
You're a little bit.
Yeah, I'm proud of you.
And this was a 6.5 inch.
This was a good 7 inches, I think.
Good 7 inches. I mean,
I think this is 7 by 46. Is that a 46?
7.25 by 47.
7.25 by 47.
So just a little bit higher ring gauge than a Lancero.
Yeah.
But right at that length.
It's like a Churchill Lancero Corona Extra.
Double Corona, yes.
Yeah. So I love the ring gauge.
If you can't get Apostate at your local brick and mortar, talk to your brick and mortar and tell them you got to have Apostate. Because
it's a very cool
They're
brand.
not going to have a lot of shelf space.
Yeah.
But their shelf space and brick and mortars that are out there, learn their blends and what their blends bring out to be able to offer their blends as a representation or as alternatives to others.
And that's
phenomenal cigars.
Yeah, and that's another thing. It's little, it's small, but when you, just like some of the other ones that I love, when you can just take your fingernail and pop the band off, and they don't glue that frickin' thing on there with cement, and you can just take the band off, and now I can use this for something because the paper's not all torn up. That's another plus for me.
That actually, so let's leaf and grain. You know, we review cigars, and we score cigars on that 100-point scale. If I can't bring off the band like this, that's points counted off.
Yeah, I think, yeah, exactly.
It's points counted off because that goes to the quality and the care that they put in to their cigars.
Yeah, exactly. And besides that, the band is a work of art. It's got texture to it. It's not even
just the main band, but it's the subsequent band that has the name of the cigar that's on there that comes into it. I mean, come on.
Yeah, I know.
This is
so fantastic. So you guys, search out, like Dave said, search out, ask your brick and mortar. If they don't have Apostate there, they need to get it in there. It's a great brand. Go look for it and smoke some of these. If you have smoked these, tell me which one your favorite is down there. And you've seen the pairings that we've got. Our suggestions, that's that one. Both are good.
Both are fantastic.
If you've got another high proof whiskey that you like and you've smoked with it, let us know about that too. But fantastic, another great pairing, Dave. I really appreciate it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. But this has been fun. I don't know if this is a normal thing, but we'll see. All right, guys, stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Pick up your collectible Texas Cigar Roadshow laser engraved whiskey glass at giftygarage.net.
Hey y'all, welcome back. We've got another cigar accessory review. This one again, guess what? It's from Cigarism again. They've sent me several items and this is the latest one here. Again, wrapped in its traditional white sleeve. We'll just pop that out. And again, the box, you can see, really nice box. If you keep boxes, it's a good box. And this one happens to have another velvet bag that the item is in. So if you're into keeping velvet bags for whatever, I don't know, you got your marble collection and you need an extra bag. But there it is, bag. Okay, so this is a 3-finger cigar travel case, if you will. It's an embossed leather. It says pirate on there. It's got a pirate skull. I'll give you a close-up of that. You can see that. It's embossed in there. It's got a good feel to it. And of course, the top here is done, and we've got the protective. We're going to go ahead and peel that off. And so you could take this into an engraver and get the top of that engraved with your name or club or whatever. Pull that out. We've got that. And we are looking at the inside. It is lined with cedar. That is all lined with cedar right there. You can see that. And this part has got some plastic protective. So they pack these things well. Bottom half is lined with cedar. And we'll take this protective off of there. Again, you could get your name or whatever engraved on there. Say we're using this for best man, groomsmen for your wedding, anniversaries or whatever. These would be some great gifts. It's got Cigarism on the back and embossed, and it's got a nice feel. So let's see how this slides together without all that plastic on there. Slides in really nice. It's got a good snug feel, so you know it's going to keep the air out. You would probably just put a real small Boveda pack in there. 69% is what I recommend. But we've got this in here so you can see all together. This is the Cigarism 3-finger case. I've got 3 cigars laying over here. I've got one out of a sleeve and 2 of them in a sleeve. So let's see how they fit. These are all Toros, and that one's a little bit, so you can see one of them is sticking above. So we're going to be able to go down and it's going to stop right there. So if you've got ones that are taller than this, that's going to be your issue. So that is a little bit bigger than a regular Toro, I think. But regular Toro size, that's going to go in there just fine. Put that down on top. Hope you guys enjoyed that. All right, this is the Cigarism 3-fingered leather case. What do you think?
Another great show.
I think so. It's fun being back.
It is.
It is fun being back. Missed you guys. I had to do what I had to do, but it is fun being back here in Tobacco Cabana, smoking cigars with my friends, doing pairings with Dave Yancey, doing crazy stuff, doing 2 bottles and cigars.
And some wonderful beers.
Railport Brewery for the Texas Toast. We had, we were smoking the Sancho Panza Extra Cheeto. Fantastic little cigar. I like Sancho Panzas. Good cigar. You guys continue to help us out. I appreciate every viewer that's out there. Every viewer that's out there. Help spread the word. And if you're new to the channel, hit that like button, hit that subscription, hit that notification bell, so when we come out with some new stuff,
hit the share.
Hit the share.
Make sure your friends know about it.
Exactly. And if you're ever in the area in Cedar Hill, Texas, drop by Tobacco Cabana. If you're into pipes, they've got good cigars back here, and it's just a good place to stop by in Cedar Hill. And I loved it. There's been some friends that have done that. I saw the show, I wanted to stop by. So I hope you guys enjoyed that. We had some great pairings, fantastic cigars, fantastic news. It's just fantastic, right?
It is.
It is. I love it. You guys, you know, wherever you're at, you know, you're doing your thing, you're smoking your cigars, you're sitting with good friends and good drinks, and you're enjoying life and you're chilling, right? But what you're doing is you're enjoying the leaf
and growing the culture.
Right. We'll see you guys next time.
Texas Cigar Roadshow is presented by Lone Star Cigar Association,